Keeping devices up to date with the right files often requires syncing content with a central server location without a consistent way to manage where those files come from. Administrators can run into confusion, misconfigurations, and inconsistent results across devices. SOTI MobiControl enables administrators to define and manage multiple authorized root directories within the file manager, providing flexible, controlled access to the server paths used for file distribution. In this video, you'll see how to add root directories in file sync policies, select them from the server path dropdown, and validate access to both local and network locations for governed, scalable file distribution. Before we begin, make sure your admin role includes the Manage File Sync Roots permission so you can add and modify authorized root directories in File Manager. Open Policies and select File Sync, then create a new File Sync policy. Provide a name and description for the policy. A file sync policy defines how devices exchange files with a server and runs on a schedule. Use the device update schedule or set your own. Select the type, either upload from device or download from server, based on your need. Keep in mind it's one way. Create separate policies for upload and for download, and ensure the deployment server has read or write access to the server location. In the Configure window, under Server Path, choose from the drop-down of authorized root directories to point the policy at approved locations. This keeps setup fast and safe, which is especially useful when different teams, for example, frontline workers versus store managers, maintain separate content trees. Select the File Manager icon next to Server Path field. Then, select Manage Routes on the top right to open the Manage Routes window. Here, you define exactly which server locations your organization can use as root directories and keep everything inside a governable list. This central oversight helps prevent ad hoc paths from creeping into policies and makes audits simpler because your allowed locations live in one place. Select Add to add a new base root directory. Specify a name and enter a subpath relative to the MobiControl root directory. This allows you to map content by business unit, region, or project without overexposing the server. For example, you might create a folder for operations as shown. Once saved, these roots appear in the Server Path dropdown and can be reused across multiple policies, reducing duplication and setup time. If your organization shares files from a network share, add a network root in the Manage Routes window. Here, specify a name for the root and enable network path. A path, username, and password field appear. Enter a UNC path that begins with double backslashes, and provide credentials. This lets you standardize access to shared repositories directly from the console. When the network path is reachable, you'll see its folders inside File Manager. If not, you'll get a network connection failed alert so you can fix credentials or correct the path, saving troubleshooting time mid-policy. Return to the File Manager to browse the routes you've defined. Verify you're selecting the right source folder and, if needed, specify additional subpath under a root. For example, select the operations root directory. Then, select Add to add a Toronto office directory. This helps you scope policies precisely, so devices only pull what they need. The result is cleaner organization, quicker onboarding for new admins, and fewer mistakes when multiple teams manage content. Finally, pick the desired route from the Server Path dropdown in your policy. From this point on, file distribution will read content only from these approved local or network locations, giving you flexibility to structure content by team or use case without sacrificing control. Proceed with fine-tuning the sync behavior and specifying network allowances to match your use case. If you need pre- and post actions on the device, enable file sync scripts to run before or after the sync. Use this to prepare a folder, set permissions, or trigger an app once new files arrive. It's a simple way to automate housekeeping around your content flow. Next, set the schedule. You can let the policy follow the device update schedule or define a custom cadence for your rollout windows, which is helpful when coordinating content pushes by shift, region, or bandwidth. When everything looks good, save and assign the policy to your target devices or groups. From there, the policy will run on schedule, and you'll see it in action as files move between the server's master folder and your devices, giving you predictable, governed distribution end-to-end. With the right files, folders, and controls, SOTI MobiControl cuts escalations, speeds up policy rollouts, and keeps a clear audit trail of where device content originates. Thanks for watching. Visit SOTI Pulse to explore the latest features and updates.